Welcome to the joint meeting with the Board of Trustees and the Planning Commission. It's April 20th, 2026. Call to order at 6 p.m. Roll call. Who is?
You want me to roll call planning? You can roll call trustees?
Sure. Want to begin?
Sure. Hyde.
Here.
Moore. Here. Kendall. Here. Walsh, I believe, will be joining us virtually. Culbertson here. Fletcher. Grant.
Here. You get to do it twice.
Right. Carrie, present. Gable.
Present.
Flintoff. Absent. Brandt.
Here.
Noel.
Here.
Reed.
Here.
Riser.
Here.
Okay, we have quorum. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adoption of the agenda. Are there any suggested changes? None? Is there a motion to adopt the agenda as is?
I move the adoption of the agenda as presented.
Support. Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? This is the time for members of the public to speak to the Board of Trustees for up to 5 minutes on any matter. If you would at least begin with anyone present, please come to the table and speak into the microphone. Christy, is the microphone working? Is that the old one?
As much as it does.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't know. Christie has called.
Hi. Is the switch on?
But we don't have mics either,
You're any of
so we should be okay, right?
Just speak, please speak loudly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Rob Pattinson, Scio Township resident. First of all, I was at court today, and 13 of us there were there in court to support you. You got a lot of support in the community, and you will continue to. So, well done today getting through another day. I will note that we had a year of 6 or 8 probable cause hearings, and now we've got 9+ months of 4 pretrial hearings. We had a pretrial hearing last fall. We had one in March that was, the judge recused himself, one today, another one in May, and they've scheduled the trial for June 29th at 8:30 a.m. But just want to let you know you got a lot of support in the community.
Thank you.
Laura, you have been super busy with stuff that's going on with the Planning Commission. This year it's going to be even busier now with all this master plan stuff that's going on. Thank you for all you've done for us, especially the data center stuff. I was super impressed with the Planning Commission getting the data center and you getting the data center stuff done so quickly. Thank you for that. I wrote to both the board and the Planning Commission earlier this week about the Airbnb issue and the PUD public benefit issue. Please add those to tonight's discussions. I talked to Keith Desmond, our code enforcement officer, about short-term rentals and Airbnbs, and we don't have any ordinance regulating them. I also had a conversation with him about the noise ordinance. We've been asking the board and the previous board to finally improve our noise ordinance with one with enough teeth in it to force uncooperative business owners into compliance. Lieutenant Kratzenberg recommended we look at Scio Township's noise ordinance to guide us on writing an impactful improvement to ours. Keith has now been with Scio for quite some time. Ironically, no one has ever talked to him about the noise ordinance. So we need our officials to speak to the people who are enforcing the noise ordinance and who have a law enforcement history. He worked in Scio Township. He's very familiar with their noise ordinance. We need to include Keith in that discussion. Opera's Grove revealed the serious vulnerability we have to hostile developers, and it cost us $1.5 million. We need Carlisle Workman to look at every parcel in Scio and identify all other similar vulnerabilities in other zoning areas where a hostile developer could come in and take advantage of Scio taxpayers. Please update the master plan and zoning components to protect Scio residents. And how about an ordinance to put mailboxes on the same side of the road as the home? The post office hasn't updated their policy to consider the higher speeds, more sources of distraction, and other factors that make it more dangerous today than it was in the past to cross the street to get mail. No Scio resident deserves to have to risk their life to get their mail. We've already had one resident killed last year while getting the mail. And when I talk about putting mailboxes on the same side of the street as the home, I'm talking about Wagner, Zeev, Miller, Dexter, Scio Church, Liberty, all of our high-speed, high-traffic areas. For residential areas, maybe not as important, but certainly for our high-speed, high-traffic areas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alice Fairmont-Becky, and I live on Honey Creek Drive, Scio Township. There's been a lot of discussion among our neighbors and certainly with all of you probably about very good reasons not to have any Airbnbs in our neighborhood. But I just want to refer to a building code that was made especially for Honey Creek subdivision, and I'll refer to the page that I'm passing around. It says, number 2 from the zoning board, land use and building type says no lot in the subdivision shall be used except for residential purposes. No building shall be erected, altered, placed, or be permitted to remain on any lot other than one detached single-family dwelling and private and attached garage, and no attempt shall be made to circumvent this restriction. To me, this says it all, and I was told that there was no restrictions in our neighborhood in terms of having multiple dwellings, but this certainly proves otherwise. So I'd just like to make sure that everyone understands that that was put in place when the subdivision was built many years back. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's okay?
Yeah, I'll come after you. I'm not gonna say much.
Hi, I'm Wendy Midtown. Is this working?
No.
Okay. The 2 Airbnbs, we talked about it at the Planning Commission meeting, voiced concerns at that time. Just to remind you, it's the addresses are 4385 Joanne Drive and 4355 Joanne Drive. Currently listed as capacity like 30 people for 2 homes as Airbnbs. And since that time, I became aware that the zoning of that neighborhood is R1 residential. That's all. And I guess that's what this just confirms. So how that is allowed to be, the owner isn't even really in one of those houses or either one. Seems like a no-brainer that something needs to be enforced or implemented to be really clear about Airbnbs and the definition of that. Short-term rentals, sorry.
What were the house numbers again? Please.
4, hold on a minute. It's Joanne Drive, 4385 Joanne Drive, and 4355 Joanne Drive. A few of us came to the Planning Commission meeting and described the nuisances that have already occurred and our fears and concerns legitimately about what inevitably happens when there are large groups in Airbnbs, parking, noise, transient populations. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else present would like to speak?
Paula Gloverson, Scio resident since 87 and started building, and everybody who knows anything about me have their own opinions. But I've always been concerned about the water aquifers, and with this Dexter annexation, I won't come to that meeting, but I want to let you know I've been watching that for quite some time before Dexter changed their city charter. Real quick, Commissioner Hyde, Commissioner Brandt, and Trustee were at the watershed planning, and we have a beautiful natural community, and the wetlands. I'm so glad everybody voted to save the vernal forest, Aubrey Grove. I don't know if they just call it Five Oaks now or whatever they're calling it. I don't live there, but I am always an advocate for our waterways, because eventually it gets into the Huron River, and we need to, we're gonna have more growth. I came to Ann Arbor in '78, and I don't wanna see massive high rises, but I think we could build up a little bit along the corridor and save some of the, because the drainage and all those things, everybody knows what I'm talking about. And our aquifers are extremely important, as well as I actually had the nickname of sewer lady for a little while, which wasn't very appealing, but I know quite a bit about the history and why Ann Arbor. I mean, we get it from Ann Arbor. And we don't, everybody should inform themselves on that. But please, that's why I came tonight. I got half hair, I've been up since 5. When you're doing this planning and this Airbnb thing, it's a business as far as I'm concerned, and they shouldn't be in a residential zoning. But they've been here in Ann Arbor, down Miller Road. You can look where they've been already. And if the thing is we need affordable housing, this is a huge tax break now for them as of this year. This is why people are doing it. People that I knew that lived in condos over off of Main Street there near the expressway, these people would leave their homes, their condos on the weekends for football. And then there were massive parties. And I grew up in Birmingham when it was a small town. And they just recently had a shootout at an Airbnb there. So I don't know what the answers are, but I know the answer is we've got to protect the creeks, the wetlands. It's a filtration system, natural habitats, all those things. And we have a trustee and Commissioner Hyde that were at that watershed meeting. And I couldn't always be doing that. I did the Sierra Club, all kinds of things. I worked with 3 kids, so, and a very busy job with call. Now I'm old, I can pay more attention to these things. Go have a dirty chai now. But thank you very much. Thank you. Very nice to meet you. Yes, thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Jeannie Demansky, and the first thing I'm going to do is read a letter that I sent to the board last week. I was unable to make the meeting, and so I want to make sure everybody had a chance to see or know it. My name is Jeannie Demansky. My husband David and I have owned our home at 861 Honey Creek Drive in Scio Township for almost 34 years. I don't plan on moving anytime soon. There are now 2 Airbnb hotels in my close neighborhood of about 34 homes. That's almost 6%. 1 more is over 8%. 2 more is 12%. Where does it stop? These homes rent to large party groups, 15 to 16 people each. Cars, maybe 9 or 10. They don't fit in the driveway and line up along the street, making passage on our narrow dirt roads difficult. Airbnb hotels don't belong in residential neighborhoods. Ann Arbor has banned Airbnb hotels in residential neighborhoods. It affects property values, community cohesion, Safety. Strangers with no ties to our neighborhood have walked through our backyards, including homes with young children. That's dangerous. I have attached a recent article from the Alliance for Stronger Communities. It lists reasons to regulate Airbnb hotels in Michigan. Please read it, and please ban them from neighborhoods like mine. I also would like to say Airbnbs are not good neighbors. It doesn't matter how long you live in your neighborhood, 1 year or 30, being a good neighbor is not being on vacation. I've lived on my street for 34 years. I know almost all the people. We actually have a neighborhood chat group together. I even know their dogs. A couple years ago, there was a storm that caused minor tree damage on my street. We all chipped in and rented a chipper and went down the street, house to house to house, helping each other chip up the trees that had fallen. Not big trees, small enough for people to work on. I can't imagine hotel guests wanting to come out and help with that. Another problem with Airbnb, you mentioned water quality. I read a thing from the county that says it's about permits. Permits for people who are getting sewer systems, septic systems. We live in a septic system neighborhood. We are not anywhere near that's going to be having city water or sewage. So that means those two houses each have a drain field and have a septic system that's being used by 30 people. I think that's probably a bad idea. Right between my house and my neighbor Steve, there's a little tributary, a little creek that runs when it rains into the Honey Creek, which is only a block, not even a house block away from our homes. So that this house is in danger of contaminating all of our neighborhood aquifer with, destroying that septic system. The county requires that if a home has a change in usage, it has to get a new permit and it has to have the septic system inspected. I would put money that these people did not do that before they decided to rent these homes or sell these homes as hotels. The other thing is they list how many bedrooms there are. Well, I can make 4 bedrooms out of my basement, so that's not really an adequate bedroom or safety. What about the fire department if they got called there for a fire? How did they know how many people are in those homes? It's a danger. So I would like you to please, I don't know how to do regulations. I'm just, I'm here hoping that you know what to do to protect our rights as homeowners in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Stephen Eisenberg. I'm Jean's next door neighbor. One of my biggest problems with this Airbnb is that the owner advertises it as party houses. If you look at his Airbnb listing, I think we've sent it to you, he listed 19 beds per house. These are 2,200 square feet homes, making it less than 200 square feet per person. The house, maybe a regulation on the number of square feet. An 8-person house, 2,200 square feet, it's about 800, 900 square feet per person. The problem we had this weekend, because of the parade downtown Ann Arbor, because of our national championship basketball team, both homes were completely packed, over 30 people. 2:30 in the morning, they're drunk walking around the neighborhood. They're not being rude. They're nice, but when you have 25 people at 2:30 in the morning trying to talk to each other on a dirt road, it disturbs your sleep. All the animals were barking. I'm upset mostly at this man's attempt to break the neighborhood. He is trying to force out people. The lady who sold him the second house, Mary Beth, did not like the Airbnb being next to her, and it accelerated her sale. There are other homes, other of us seniors who are being ready to move on to greener pastures. Nothing greener than Scio. But I'm concerned that more homes in our neighborhood are likely to fall to this. It lowers our property values, lowers our sense of community. In my 25 years in the community, I have grown to know every neighbor. We have a great neighborhood, all support each other. This destroys a neighborhood, destroys the community. It eliminates the possibility of students coming into the school district, going to schools. We need more students with a declining population. It takes off affordable housing. I'm glad Charles has inherited sums of money and has the fortune to do this. But we're teachers in our neighborhood. Alice is a retired Ann Arbor teacher, so am I, so is Art, so are other people there. No new teachers can move into our neighborhood now. Nobody who did our career and taught the public schools can afford with this kind of thing going on, taking the homes that teachers could move into for proud people who need a hobby. And this is a hobby for Charles's wife. She told me he needs a hobby, so get her houses to do. But it destroys the neighborhood. And I'm upset that he's doing it to bust the neighborhood. He didn't try to be a good neighbor. He came at it in a very aggressive, destructive nature. And I think that ought to be considered too, how destructive he attempted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
My name is Paul Dooley. I also live on Honey Creek. I'm one of the people that had some random Airbnb people walk through my yard late at night. I think it was after 9 o'clock, maybe between 9 and 10 p.m. Kind of playing on our play stuff. And as a father of a 2.5-year-old, that really made my blood boil. I just want to echo everything that my neighbors have said. The only other thing I'll say is you probably know that when you make these Airbnb reservations, it's just one person that makes the reservation, right? And then 30 people show up. So even the owner of the house only technically will know one person, and then we have up to like 29 other random people staying in these houses that's, 150 feet from my house. So I hope something can be done urgently.
Thank you.
Okay, how you doing? My name's James Whitmer. I live on Scio Church Road. And I was just concerned about these Airbnbs. So far, you guys haven't done a very good job of policing the party barns across from me. I was going on 20 years. And I might try to take decibel readings and things like that. And Kelly sends her, the owners of the valley sends their people out there to try to fight me in the middle of the street. They got aggressive on me, and I'm the one that gets a PPO on it. And she's supposed to be living in that house that they're living in the barn. They're supposed to have been for storage. It's just the lies keep going. And I just don't trust an Airbnb. I spend a lot of money on my taxes, and I take a long way drive to work out here. And I believe everybody deserves peace. And she's supposed to be at the house she lives in right now, the barn. And I see them going all the time. And they already got reviews because they rent their house out. She's supposed to be in her house, and she's not in her house. Now she's built a garage in her backyard, and she's already got an advertisement to rent that out. And it just never stops. The only thing, Heath has been cool. He definitely worked out better with him, but he got their dumpster off the street. But other than that, that's all I got. If I go down to take readings down the street with the sound decibels, and I call the police come to my house instead of going down. And they supposed to have a sound reading machine at the police department. They never bring it out there. And the police are cool. They don't want to mess up this stuff. They even said we should have the townships talk, but nothing, nothing's done. And now you're going to add more stuff onto the list, and it's been bad for my neighborhood. And I don't think you guys can police an Airbnb. You know what I'm saying? And I was worried for other people because so far for me, it's been nothing but bad. Ken and Ellie lied to me about everything they said they was going to do. I mean, everything that they said there's going to be little parties. First, when they had the first barn, it was supposed to be like twice a month. Then they said, well, we're going to restore this other barn, and we won't ever have parties at the same time. Well, she never did that. And I told her, I was honest, what are you going to do later on? And then they said they would shut one of them down, and they never did. And then after they said they was going to shut it down, then they said they were going to sell it, but they were going to sell it as a home, and they didn't. And they just keep on lying, and you guys keep on giving them everything, and nothing gets done. Only person that's been hurt is me. And but I'm just gonna, there's nothing more I can do. I'll never talk to her again. All they want is mediation between them guys and you guys. I've been asking for years, me and the streeters, And there's other people that just wore out, they're wore out. And nothing's ever gotten done. We have not, Kelly don't wanna have a meeting because everything she says has been a lie. And she won't talk to me with you guys because she knows that she's lying. And so she'll do anything she can we want a mediation. I think we should cut some of her events down. And they just had an event out of the season, just a couple, up in March. They're supposed to have events in March, and they had a wedding there. But they keep doing things, and no one can police it. No one can do nothing about it. And so now you're gonna have Airbnbs out here, and so you already messed up my place. I'm already looking for a piece of place to live. I can find a place, I got realtors, I'm looking elsewhere. But you guys haven't done nothing for me. And these other people down here, and you know, when I talked to you, Joanne, we thought that she said I was stalking her. And I'm like, what? I'm looking, well, I got off work on Saturday. Look, I seen her, but then she did come out, she was saying I was stalking her on Friday. I don't know what the hell she's talking about, but she's a manipulative liar. And she lied to the judge, and she lies to everybody. And the next, and so, like she didn't tell, she edited the video of what went on with me and her, but she didn't have the video when her bouncer was in my face, trying to beat me up, telling me he's gonna knock my teeth out and swearing at me, and he's sitting at me at 12 o'clock, and she's at 11 o'clock, and nothing got done about it. Nothing gets done, nothing helps me. You guys haven't done nothing. And she gets away with this, so now you're gonna give her an Airbnb. And she's already been renting that place out, and she's supposed to be there. And that's all I'm saying. I talked to you rougher than I ever talked to her. She said, I held her letters. I sent her one letter. I should read it to you guys. It's so ridiculously soft, sugar-coated. I'd never been mean to her ever. Well, when her guy was grabbing me and throwing me around the front yard, I had to stand up to this guy, about 100 pounds bigger than me. Yeah, I was a little bit off that day. But and that's all, she videos that tape. But now you're still talking about the sound decibels. So I just don't think you should give any more things out until you fix my stuff. I think it's not right to the township. It's not right for these other people. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie.
Have a good one.
Well done.
Hi, my name is Heidi Stevenson, and I live at 961 Honey Creek. And I'd just like you to take a moment and think about what makes your home home. Probably the people who live there, the way your yard looks, the neighbors that you have, the connection or casual conversations you have, or the way you get together and chip. These are things that make a neighborhood. Think about what an Airbnb is, or people rotating in and out who don't necessarily have an investment, especially if they're a group of 30. And pets, by the way, too. There's pets that can be there as well. So I think we've seen what happens, that Ann Arbor has already dealt with this problem by having regulations. Scio has not dealt with this problem and doesn't have regulations. And this is the result. And this is just the beginning of the result, which I think we can all picture, that if word gets out or this is seen as effective, they can't do it in Ann Arbor, so here's Scio. So I strongly recommend that you consider some of the regulations that Ann Arbor has adopted and adopt those in Scio as well, so that we all can live in safe and welcoming neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Renee Klubeck, Scio Township resident for 15 years. My husband on the property, 30 years. I have never been to a planning commission meeting, and I made it a goal this year to attempt to learn more about the process and what's happening where I live. And as I came here tonight, I really wanted to say something. I owned a piece of property for 25 years in Dexter Township on North Lake, right off North Territorial. Very small lake. And I sold that property about 3 years ago. And the only reason I wanted to bring it up is because I was so pleased, because it meant it was everything to me. I'd raised my children there. It was just everything. And I sold it to a wonderful family, 2 physicians that had grown up with my own children, had children of their own, and I was like so happy. I sold the house and it was gone, and 30 days later, my old neighbors started calling me, leaving terrible comments to me. And then someone called and said, "Do you know it's on Airbnb?" I had no idea. I was shocked. And we backed up to state land, so there were restrictions on the state land use right behind our back property line as well as lakefront. As everybody knows, people have been looking and renting cottages forever. It has changed. It's not what it was 30 years ago. The only thing I wanted to say was it might be helpful. Dexter Township changed their process and made a huge change within the last 2 years. And since we do so much with them, I'm sure everybody knows what they're doing, but I just thought I would mention that they just recently had to go through and redo all this. Because what had happened was what was maybe 10 cottages or homes that got rented, you know, whatever, was just changing hugely in North Lake area and other areas. There's many small lakes in Dexter Township. So I understand these frustrations of these people from being on the side that felt horrible that I contributed to it without even knowing. And someone said to me that there was now a clause requiring in real estate that a reference to the property not being bought with intention of using it as a commercial property in a residential zone. So I'm not a lawyer, but I just wanted to say maybe Dexter Township would be a good place to get some input on how this was, because my neighbors that were dear to my heart were just crushed with what happened, and I felt terrible. So thank you for listening, and I'm happy to be here and listen and learn a little more. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else present would like to speak? Can I just come up again? Or not? We have a second public comment period later.
Okay, is there anybody online that would like to speak at public comment? Please raise your Zoom hand. Check. No hands are raised.
Okay. During the Board of Trustees meetings on our agenda, we always have a board comment period after public comment. We do not have that on this agenda. Would that be okay?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Who's on here?
So I wanted to say to the people with the Airbnb, I gave you all advice at the Planning Commission on what to do, and that was that they're probably in violation, and you need to go to the county and discuss with them what's going on, that they're utilizing, you know, far more than what their septic field is set for, et cetera, and the county will deal with that. And, you know, but you're gonna have to go to them and talk to them. There's nothing we can do about that. Regarding this is your PUD, this is your bylaws for you all. So this gives you all the ability to go after the, you know, with however you want to take action against these homeowners, because you guys are your own group and you can take action against this homeowner. This has nothing to do really with Scio Township at all. I mean, you know, we're going to do our job, you know, for regulating and get to that, and that's, you know, we're going to work on that. But right now, our hands are tied too. So, but you guys, with this, you have the ability to take action. We have an attorney here who probably could, a couple of attorneys that could chime in on that. But you know, I'm kind of assuming you all have a board. I hope you do. Or you used to have a board for your neighborhood, because with this PUD and these bylaws, it's stated in there. Now you kind of have a problem with the wording, which is residential. Is that, you know, does an Airbnb still fall under residential? But you do have the ability with the number of people. Like I said, I do own a property out in Colorado. There's regulation out there, and you know it's strictly, you know, you may want to ask with the county, but basically when they're saying a bedroom, they're considering 2 people in that bedroom, and that's it. And so that may be something that you guys can work out as far as the number of people that are really allowed in the home, because it's based on bedrooms, not on make-believe bedrooms either.
It also says single family.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
Can I ask one question about that?
Sure.
There is a Scio Township regulation in the zoning laws, section 3674, intent permitted uses. D, single-family residential district R1, intent. The district is established to provide areas for single-family dwellings on lots suitable for private septic fields and water wells. It is designed to preserve a predominantly low-density character, protect natural features, and reduce the need for public services. This is the current zoning that we have, that these Airbnbs do not fall under. Point 2 is permitted uses. A, single-family dwelling. B, family daycare homes. C, adult foster care homes. D, nature and wildlife preserves. Conditional uses underneath are subject to, are subject to section 36142. So that says country clubs, swim clubs, etc., but it has other restrictions on it. So how is that not in violation of the current zoning we already have, and why is it allowed? Why can't Scio Township do something?
That was my comment.
So, well, we do have, thank you for bringing this to our attention.
Lots of discussions coming.
Yes, and we have, I think all of us have been looking into different things. The supervisor has the assessing department under the supervisor by statute, so I have been in contact with our assessor, having her look into things from that point of view, and she did come back with some things that I haven't had a chance. Did I forward that to you, Laura? Maybe not.
No, but I've also talked to the assessor about
Okay.
Personal property exemptions and those types of things.
Yeah.
Homesteads, I mean, you can't, if you're not living in your property and you've said that you are for the purposes of taxes. We've caught several of those through Airbnb, Zillow. So, their tax status is different if they're not living there.
Yeah.
Well, these are tricky.
Yeah, they are tricky. There's a lot to look into, and
You don't have to live there. It has to be your permanent residence, and there's a difference.
Correct.
So I deal with this headache in the municipality to our east. But I guess I'll ask you, is long-term rental, so in Ann Arbor, they have short-term rentals and long-term rentals, and long-term rentals is generally over a certain period of time, might be 90 days or something like that. So are long-term rentals allowed in Scio Township residential districts generally?
Yes.
Yeah.
And is there something that prohibits short-term rentals?
No.
So if they're
Not
not prohibited, then they're permitted, is that the case?
That's been how we've interpreted thus far.
Okay, and
With all of this information, with the complaints that the enforcement officer has received, we are now looking into the potential for ordinances, general law and zoning ordinance. But this really, this meeting is intended to be for the master plan, which is the policy which we base all our zoning decisions on, which is great that we have this feedback. But that very specific short-term rental is kind of aside from what we're trying to talk about tonight. It's very specific, and we're gonna work on that while we're doing this. And so it's a great conversation, but it really kind of is aside from what the purpose of this meeting is this evening.
yes, and in the meantime, there are some things that you can do. Commissioner Hindle had mentioned, but also call the sheriff, take pictures, keep a log, build your case, and that's all going to help. It may not feel like it in the meantime, but it will.
It's gonna take time.
Yep.
And I would add to that, it's sometimes not the zoning violation that piques, upsets neighbors. It's the trash violation, it's the noise violation, it's the light violation, or it's the parking.
Or nuisance related.
Yeah, so it's nuisance. So report the violations to our ordinance officer, or when they're happening, to the sheriff's department when they're occurring. So if nothing else, a deputy showing up that's saying we've got complaints, no one wants the cops showing up to your party. Even I know that. So just report report things to the sheriff and have them respond if, like I say, music or noise.
Drunken
or
disorderly.
Public cannabis use or drunken disorderly or urinating on her property. I mean, I can share with you things that I see.
Even parking, your PUD may say no parking in the street.
Right.
Just a correction, there isn't a PUD.
HOA. HOA, sorry, HOA, I'm sorry.
And to Laura's,
We don't have an HOA.
You do. You do, because it's been,
well,
so you need to figure that out.
Seems like we have CCR. Okay, well, let's move on. We will be looking into all of this. Let's see, let's move on to new business, please. H1, information, thank you. Plan to plan presentation?
Yep, that's me.
Okay. Oh, that's you. Go ahead.
So that's what we're here for. This is the first meeting, kind of the initiation of the master plan review. So the township master plan is reviewed every 5 years based on state law. So the planning commission and the board review the master plan. You can either determine that it does not need any modifications. You can choose that it needs amendment, which is a separate, shorter public comment period, but the same real process as a full rewrite of the master plan. So 5 years ago, this wasn't a complete rewrite, and we spent a lot of time, actually it was during COVID, and we had to be really innovative in how we received some of our public comment. We used Zoom, we did all sorts of things. I think we did a survey, we did Zoom, over several meetings to come up with our current master plan. So I'm Laura Krebs. I think everybody here knows me, but for the public, I am with Carlisle Wortman Associates. I'm the township planning consultant. Carlisle Wortman has been the township's planner for, I think, 30-ish years. So my predecessor, Doug Lawan, and before him, Dick Carlisle. We've been with the township a long time, and I think we've done probably, if we've been here 30 years, we've probably done 7 or 8 of these over the course of that time. So I'm excited to be here with you. Joe Pizzotti is also with Carlisle Wortman. He's gonna assist me when we get to our little exercise. So that's Joe. We'll get right into it. I think everyone here knows the master plan is a roadmap. It's a vision. It's meant to guide us in our decision making through ordinances, site plan review, land use decisions, all that good stuff. We plan to anticipate change, create predictability, make sure that we're using our resources wisely, where are our water and utility services, where should our most dense development be, where are our most sensitive environmental areas, where should we be protecting those, et cetera. So we're creating that vision for the future, and really, the bottom line, we want to protect the environment, we want to protect our quality of life. As I said, this is the official adopted policy document. It outlines the general statement of our goals and policies. It helps synchronize public improvements and private development. It provides our vision for the future. We use it as an educational tool. If you aren't aware, this is the master plan. It's on the website in full digital form. It has a lot of great information in there if you haven't read it. It serves as an aid in my daily decision making as the zoning administrator. I use it all of the time. We meet with developers, with residents that have questions about what they could do with their property. And then it's the statutory foundation for which all our zoning decisions are based. So rezoning applications, what is it planned for, right? Do they coincide, or is this not a land use or a zoning category that fits for this particular parcel? There are lots of different ways you can set up a master plan with different chapters. Ours is pretty simplistic, I would say. It has, background studies, existing land use, goals and objectives, implementation plan. The statute was recently updated to we have to include a housing study, so that will be incorporated in this new amendment of the plan. It also has maps and figures, and we try to put some pictures in here of interesting locations and businesses so that a reader can get a clear picture of what's in the township, what does it look like. There are other township plans we should be referencing, and they should reference our plans as well as they finalize or come to fruition. The Huron River Watershed Council just gave the Planning Commission a green infrastructure presentation and a draft document. There's a lot of great information in there. That's actually the draft map that came out of it up there on the wall. So, you know, it shows bioreserves, they're prioritized, and it demonstrates where hubs should be and linkages, and it's a really interesting document, and we'll be looking at it when we look at our natural resource map. We also just had the Jackson Road corridor study completed last year, and that talked about multimodal forms of transportation, how are we getting people to and from different locations along Jackson Road, and gave some priorities in that respect as well. And then you have your Parks and Recreation and Open Space Master Plan, or PROS plan, and that was last reviewed and approved in 2023, so next year you're going to be going through that process again. All very important.
I wanted to add one more thing that was done after we did the master plan, and that was the Environmental Sustainability Climate Action Plan.
Awesome. We'll make sure that gets in there too. So really what we're trying to do here is put together the scope of what this master plan amendment means. So I put together kind of an initial scope of work, but really it's your document. It's up to the Planning Commission and Board to demonstrate or tell us what the priorities are and what you want to focus on. So we're going to talk about 3 whats. What is important to our community? So what? Why are these issues important? And now what? What are we going to do about it? And how are we going to plan for that? So hopefully by the end of tonight, we're going to define the whats. And so we're going to kind of have a path as to what our priority, our large, high-level priorities are that we want to incorporate into the plan or ensure that they're still there and they're still relevant in the master plan. How are we going to do that? We're going to review the document. We're going to update the community profile with 2024 numbers, demographics as much as we can. We're going to do a little bit of brainwriting tonight, which is why you have, everybody should have a few sticky notes and then some dots for our exercise. We're going to vote on a couple things, and we're just going to have some general discussion. And so after the meeting, Joe and I are going to go back and take all the stuff that we have and kind of put them together in a document so we can talk about them at the Planning Commission and streamline our path. To are we amending the document? Are we doing a full comprehensive modification? What types of public input do we want? And from there, we'll kind of build that, make sure our scope meets what we intend to do.
And we also have another option, which is to say, we think things are fine with the master plan as written.
You can do that, yes. After you review it, you can do that. So I wanted to share just a couple kind of high level, you have the community profile. This was updated with some of the 2024 information, and I just want to highlight a couple things. So in Scio Township, our population has basically tripled since 1980. We were at 6,500 people in 1980. We're now almost at 17,500 people. By 2050, we're anticipated to grow another approximately 4,000 to 5,000 people. So,
next year?
2050. Yeah.
With all these
Well,
developments going in.
And when we're looking at the 2050 number, it's actually less than what they said for 2040. And that's interesting to me. I wonder what changed, because we've had the most housing ever built in 23 and 24 and 25. Like over 700 units were built in Scio Township between 2023 and 2025. And that includes multifamily, so that Woodview Commons, and then single family development as well.
Hey, can you give me that number again? How many units?
731 total units were built between 2023 and 2025. So another important thing I think we need to think about as we talk about the master plan is that our median age here in the township currently is 42.6 years. That's not a young family, right? The number of children under the age of 18 in 2010 were about 25% of our population. In 2020, it was down to 22%. And by 2050, they're saying it'll be 19% of our population. In contrast, the senior population is projected to increase 464% in the next 30 years, so by 2050. So that's, I don't have a number. That's a lot of people.
Is that because of our zoning or just because that's just demographics?
It's demographics.
It's not because we don't allow multifamily, it's just.
This is the county's numbers?
No, this is from SEMCOG.
Thank you.
Well, and it's expensive to have children.
It's expensive to have children, and we're older, 42, our our median age is 43 years old. A lot of people have already at least had one child by the time they're 43.
People are having less children around the world.
Big.
Yeah. Well, I know my children probably will have, I don't know if they'll have children, right? I mean, they're coming up, and I don't know. The other couple things that are kind of important that are extraordinary in Scio Township is we are extremely educated. Over 70% of our population has a bachelor's degree or higher. We are also fairly wealthy. Having a median household income,
Yeah. Did you hit the X?
I hit the X.
Yeah.
I wanted just to move it. We have a median household income of around $129,000, almost $130,000. Our median housing value is over $500,000, and our median year structure build is 1996. So we are a fairly new, affluent community. In addition, 78% of our housing stock is owner occupied. We have very few rental properties in Scio Township.
I think too many.
Yeah. Maybe there's more than we don't know about.
So, when you look at, this is kind of an odd slide, but if you look at our surrounding townships west of Ann Arbor, we have the highest population in our township, and we're growing the fastest. So.
I noticed when I was reviewing this packet that you didn't have Chelsea on here.
Yeah, I mean, we can add that if you want, but.
Oh, I was just curious because they seem to be.
Well, Chelsea doesn't
Doesn't
abut us.
Is there a touch about?
Oh, I see.
There's also this change in land use that we put together, just kind of highlight that the attached condo housing has increased 35%, in great part probably to Woodview Commons. Mixed use has increased by a few acres. Hospitality has decreased. That's the loss of the movie theater. And then of course medical is way up. So
What is TCU?
I think that's utilities. It's roads and utilities.
Oh.
You said TCU is.
Roads and utilities. And this is our current future land use map. As you can see along the Jackson Road corridor, that's where it's very colorful because that's where we plan for our dense residential and commercial development. The areas that are yellow and the lighter green, the light yellow is single family residential areas, primarily existing single family neighborhoods. And then the light green are zoned ag or planned for ag. And then the darkish green are more natural areas and recreation conservation uses.
And just go back to this chart that you were just talking about. all of this is in acres,
Yep.
not units.
Right. Yep,
Land use.
land use acreage. So
It's interesting.
the next few slides are important because this is the meat of the master plan, the goals. What are our goals for the township? And so I summarized them because some of them are pretty lengthy, but I gave you the full version here. So you have it to take home and think about later. But I'm just gonna go through these kind of like in each category, just to kind of give a summary for everybody that they understand. And they're meant to be broad, right? We want to be inclusive. We want to be able, when we are looking to consider a policy or an ordinance, to be sure that we're not so narrow in our scope that something like a short-term rental wouldn't fit in this, right? We want to make sure that we're encompassing all of the potential things we might want to regulate or have a policy or conserve. So in land use goals, I want you to think about whether these still apply or if they should be shifted or something should be added to them as we talk about them. First, we want to accommodate a variety of land uses. We also want to guide development to foster the responsible use of land and make best use of existing infrastructure, meaning we want to put high-dense uses where there's water and sewer, and we want to preserve areas that are sensitive. We want to maintain a pattern of development with clear edges. We want to support growth with increased building height and density. We want to promote a diversity of housing opportunities. And we want to facilitate aging in place opportunities.
So these are currently what we want to do?
These are your current goals, land use goals, yep.
There's more.
There's actually a couple more.
No,
Carbon neutrality in building and site designs, encouraging that. Attracting and promoting quality industrial and research development uses. It's important to have those types of uses in your community for jobs, tax base, all sorts of things. But we also want to maintain and promote active farmland. That's important to us to continue to be rural in character. We want to assure that new development in existing areas protect our rural character and open space, natural resources, and recreational values that we have here in the township. And then this one was added because at one point there was some concern that we might be looked at for fracking. And so we have in our master plan, and we should continue to have, assure that activities and land uses related to ancillary to mineral, sand, gravel, oil, and gas exploration and development occur in a manner consistent with other existing and planned uses. And so that's protecting neighborhoods and sensitive areas from that type of potential use.
But nowadays, they would say data centers.
Well, maybe not exactly. Next we have land preservation goals. We want to preserve our open spaces. We want to encourage integration of open spaces and dedicated parkland in development proposals. We want to promote farmland, open space, and natural feature preservation. We want to protect and preserve our historic resources. We want to protect and preserve farmland to maintain the rural character. We want to preserve an interconnected system of riparian corridors, woodlands, tree rows, and open spaces. We want to protect water quality and quantity. These are all really important. And there's a couple transportation goals. We want to maintain the transportation network that has a capacity while maintaining our rural roadways. We want to evaluate impact of traffic by new developments. We want to coordinate improvements with the appropriate agencies. We want to foster a variety of transportation choices, biking, multimodal, or transit, walking, etc., in addition to vehicles. And we want to create a township-wide non-motorized network. And then for community facilities and services, we want to provide and maintain open spaces, parks, recreation facilities. We want to work with our adjacent municipalities in Washtenaw County to have high-level, high-quality community services. We want to establish a unique identity through entry signage and streetscape design on the Jackson Road corridor. And we want to provide an adequate level of services for police, fire, and other safety services. We also want to provide adequate and affordable sewer and water. Consider opportunities to improve communications and information infrastructure like broadband, cellular service, those types of things for our residents. And then we want to make sure we're evaluating the impact of new development and new and expanded land use on community services like fire and police, and how can we adequately serve everyone, continuing to add people. As far as plan unit development, this has been kind of a hot topic to date. I don't know how many of you know that in the master plan there is a whole section about plan unit development goals. And so these are the items that when we review PUDs, we look at the community benefits. These are the goals that the community benefits come from. So they should address the master plan goals noted in all the previous sections that we just talked about. Preservation of land, are they cited where there's infrastructure, etc. We like them to provide for public pathway connections and internal to the development. We want them to demonstrate public utility extensions and serve the subject in all offsite improvements that are needed for the development. They also should provide how they are going to assist in the improvement of the fire department and emergency services as part of the PUD. We'd like them to incorporate low impact development strategies for stormwater, adaptive landscape materials, EV parking, etc. We also want them to incorporate water conservation and reuse, electrification of buildings, and then incorporate and preserve mature trees, and then of course preserve and protect existing rural character. That's always at the forefront of our goals. So I know that's a lot, and that's why you have them in front of you. I would like for you to take like 10 to 15 minutes and think about what your priorities are for the township, and where, if it's something like an implementation, like an ordinance or something, or if it's a land use item, or if it's just a general goal and policy. Those are the 3 areas I'd like for you to think about. And then we're gonna you have 5 sticky notes, you have 5 items, up to 5 items. And then we'll put them up here, and then Joe and I are gonna do some work and kind of put them together and try to come up with some themes, and we're gonna discuss them and see. And then after we come up with a list we're happy with, then you're gonna vote, and we'll see where the priorities lie.
And they can be things we have, affirming what we already have.
They can
right?
affirm what you have, or they can be
New
new things, or they can say, you could say, well, we already did that, so we can take that off our list.
Can I ask a question?
Of course you can.
So overarching this whole discussion is, and we have some really good language in here about preserving our natural resources, our rural parts of the community. But I'm wondering, I'm concerned about, as a resident as well as a member of the planning commission, about the level of growth and what type of growth do we want in the future. And I know that's what we're supposed to be dealing with here. The problem is one of the things I see, one of our land use goals, number 4, support growth with increased building height and density. Now, if I were a developer and I saw that, I would go, oh wow, that's a community that wants a lot of density and height. And that's not been the case. We've had residents come in here and complain about 4 stories, 5 stories, 6 stories. We've had, also, I'm concerned about the level of growth. And so some of these goals, they sound really good, but I'm wondering if they're really doing enough to protect the rural nature. Because once the woods are gone, it's gone. And I was just talking to some people in Ann Arbor, that whole parking lot behind the old Klein's building has been bought. I think a 19-story building is being put in there. It's going to be happening over a few years. And it's happening. It's happening. I mean, the decision is we don't keep that parking spot, which we all know parking's a problem in Ann Arbor. But the decision has been made to allow it to happen. So I'm saying to you that Ann Arbor provides a good example about how growth occurs in this regard. They don't have any more land, so now they're using their parking spaces, et cetera, to build. And I wanted to say this because I haven't had the opportunity to say it with Board of Trustees present. I've probably said a lot of this kind of stuff in front of the commissioners before. But when you think of growth, it should not be an abstract idea. It should be about what you want this community to be. Do you like it the way it is? Or do you like some things that aren't the way it is? Or some things you want to change or whatever? But you have to make some far-reaching decisions today that will impact our community well into the future. And we can't wait around to do this later on. And a PUD ordinance is a good example, and the PUD language in here is a good example of it. And so I just kind of want to say that because I, for one, am concerned about the level of growth and us saying that we, the world needs more housing. Well, I don't know, how much housing do you want to have in Scio Township? How much do we want to say, we're going to provide this much housing, whatever that number is? Well, maybe we don't want to provide that much housing. Maybe there's, so anyway, I just kind of wanted to kind of make a general statement to everybody because I'm concerned about growth in general.
Not enough or too much? Because there's two sides to that.
Well, I'm worried about it being too much.
Okay.
And I'm also worried about how we do it. Because, right now, the Planning Commission has been pretty active about thinking about the growth in different ways. And we've obviously targeted Jackson Road to encourage more residential, more growth in that area. But once that's done, that doesn't mean developers are not going to want to grow somewhere else. And this document, the planning, the master plan, is our policy statement. And we get into trouble when our policy statement says we can do it. Developer comes and wants to do it and says, well, in your master plan, it says you want to support growth with increased building height and density. And you, Planning Commission or the Board of Trustees, are dealing with a development that's before you, and we don't really want that development, but our policy statement is saying something different. So I just want to, obviously this is a big issue. Do you want to grow? And if you do, how much do you want to grow?
And where?
And how you want to grow?
And where?
And pardon me?
And where?
And where, yeah. Yeah, sure. That's all I wanted to say, I'm sorry if I took too much time.
You had a couple of words at the end of that sentence, where zoned for.
Right.
Question, Laura, you said we're gonna put our ideas up on that sheet of paper?
Yep.
How does that get there? Is that?
So, yep, you got 5 sticky notes,
Right.
and I want you to think about
5 ideas?
5 ideas. What's important to you? And it could fit in any of those. You could have 5 that are all in land use, it doesn't matter. But 5 things that are important to you that you would like to see kept in the master plan, elaborated on more.
Another thing, throughout this plan, we use words like encourage, promote. Can we change those words to require?
No, because no. That would be in the ordinance. So first this, we are encouraging all of these things, and then when we write an ordinance or modify a regulation, that's where we would say require or shall.
Can our requirements be stricter than the state or federal requirements?
They can, yes, they can be. In a lot of cases, they can.
Except for building codes.
I'm sorry?
Except for building codes.
Well, zoning can. So, there's, yes.
Except for building? Well, that's the whole point.
Building
I know.
codes.
No.
Building codes, fire
How you
codes,
build.
no.
Huh?
How you build,
Oh, how you build. But what you build.
right?
All right, so take like 10 minutes, use your sticky notes, put them up wherever. Joe and I'll check them out. So
Or will there
7:20.
be a public input component like this?
There will be
project?
in the future. I don't know when that will be yet, but
That was gonna be my next question, I'm sorry. Thank you, Rob.
Sorry.
About 10 or 15 years ago, I'm not even sure you were working with
oh, I was.
when we had our busy session
Oh,
at
yes.
Wisdy? Okay. Is that something we could have again?
So that will come out of this, how we want to do our public input, we will talk about that after we get through this part.
That included, that was for all residents, I think.
So, I mean, with every bit of public input we do, the cost of the master plan amendment goes up. So there's also a budgeting factor, right? So,
Amortize it over 10 years?
well, sure.
5.
As long
Fine.
as I get paid up front, yeah.
Side of the
Eliminate the bonus density, that's what
Outside of China.
Okay. So I'm just saying it a different way, you're saying the same.
There is one that you have to have for clustering that is state mandated. It's a minor, it's not.
Yeah, I've seen the map, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's good to kind of assess that, is to look at what the GIS structure kind of indicates and those hubs and activities. Because I think we can be smarter about, we've done it parcel by parcel, but we haven't done it. Keep it all there. You know, we talk about connectivity, but we really have a lot of that. And you have to do it parcel by parcel to look at the inputs. Completely reduce someone's development rights. There's gotta be some
That's why you see him around us. I do too. I think it's going to be extremely helpful system. Planning, zoning.
It is
The
the
planning commission
planning.
recommended that the board has done something about that. Just one more thing.
You know, we only have a few hundred issues.
I can't even think of anything else. Those are. I want to read that land.
Well, it isn't complete. It doesn't say where. It just says, do this.
That's true.
Being focused.
Or as a tool to get some development we want. But yeah, it's just a blanket. That's our goal.
The other thing, this housing plan is going to be very interesting because one of the things is, I mean, look at our housing stock. What does that say about our?
Jeez.
So they're going to be here forever.
You got it.
That's almost like done.
Enough for hearing. Hey, that's me.
That's my whole neighborhood.
Maybe change the influence.
I'd like to see more families with children to move in, but, you know, it gets too hard, you know. There has to be something.
Whichever one you think it fits. Oh, we got two of them. Okay. Let's have one for idea. One sticky note, one idea per sticky note.
Got a lot of ideas.
Scio views is important.
All right, let me go change.
No, I'm teasing you, I'm teasing you. You mean the.
You have incredible passion.
Was that co-housing? Overlay to affordable, and then
What I've done
Scio Farms.
since I was 24 years old, I've been involved in architecture.
Scio Farms.
Design cities all over the world.
You know, scattered.
Combined with all because I'm involved with my whole being is architecture. And it's people like you that have the impact. So when I'm talking to them, I'd rather talk to you.
Wealthy or expensive homes, they sit at the market longer. The ones that get, yeah. Oh, here, just about. Yeah, just here last week. Yes, exactly. Yeah, generally.
You made a mistake when you got caught in one. Number two, the only way you can do it is you have the river right there, and it's not visible.
Anyways.
Take this shit out. You don't have
Bring that into you then,
Laura?
Yeah.
Just one or two words.
Two.
She's probably gonna go there, I mean, we'll see.
I'm not ready.
She's got other options, she has another option, she had, dropped down to 3. So,
How many millions of
no, we do though. I know it is, but believe me. But it's been, yeah, I know. I know, for anyone, for sure. Oh, that's better for someone. Yeah, probably, they gave her a full tuition, medical kids on board. They had 12 days,
13 old.
average, all
And they have to go for surgery in the morning and now I'm freaking out. Well, they're brothers saying dad. I have not, they're in my pasture for that exact my country's 90. You know what I mean? No, I mean like 10.
Yeah, but you get, like, I know what you mean.
Right?
Goats.
Very, very. Oh, no,
Hey, I just know, it says sorry. Oh, gotcha.
I know a guy that does that actually.
Yeah, the land conservancy has used it for
Guy from Ireland.
That's big.
I looked at, I was happy to go with him, but he doesn't. Corn kids, I don't do that.
Give us some ideas. He's speaking of concept. On the river.
It's not for what he does with them, but it is if you want to fly it.
Because you can't. Developers came in and said, it's like, you don't know what's down there. Nobody's doing
Just a couple more minutes.
Pushing us. I'm so far behind.
Okay, so we have nothing on zoning information.
Well, I think they're all good.
I am the man.
That's an
appropriate, that's what, that's what.
Everything I do, I tell you,
Which is based on the scale.
Okay, well, we'll address it.
So much nuisance, right?
Yeah, we'll.
Try and invite them to go.
Oh, okay. Well, I would just make sure, like, because we'll never.
You have to get them to show up.
That's the problem.
You have
Yeah, drop the guy outside. People parking in the road. 600 people fighting. Yes, I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with
You
you.
know,
So much. Right, goes down to enforce, yeah, back there up.
Yeah, so good.
That's what it needs. Okay, okay. I think that's very good. You guys probably
No, we're doing.
Laura? I've got the right answers.
I'm working on that right now.
Good.
We talked about the field.
I've got an email from some lieutenant at the sheriff's department.
At some point, I'll.
People can complain all they want to, but good luck getting somebody else. Literally.
First of all,
Your name is?
It's unfortunate.
since I was 26 years old, I've been math and architecture, illustrating math and planning. I've done cities all over. I've done cities for the family, something online.
Problems where I had party barns down there.
I never wanted people to negotiate the middle of it.
But that gentleman, I know what he's talking about.
It's just the people, the nature of the people.
And if is he in Lodi Township? Because he said he lives across the
Is there a green light?
Gotta be.
I believe Jiggy lives in.
Is the answer?
Not if they don't be, not if they don't be.
Of course you will remember. Does Ann Streeter live on the Lodi side of the street? I think she does. I think because she lives on the south side.
Yeah, that's Lodi.
Okay, good.
No, this is.
Which is in Lodi Township. She's in Scio. They're having all kinds of traffic. Nobody cares.
I have no oversight.
That's because she doesn't complain, nobody cares. And then with the roundabout going down there now, it's going to make it worse. It's coming through Zoom. It's going to be interesting if people are heading west out, south,
All that Mike does is push out the
over that hill, just slide through that roundabout.
He's playing.
They're gonna go
Put signs
40 miles an hour.
Especially in North. I don't know. Check it out.
Boy, I see what's on the.
Scio Church, Scio Church. 4 up here.
I just hope the park road one's not gonna be a double lane.
That's the story.
I'm unclear.
Double lane or already.
They haven't come up with
It's not gonna be a double lane. Well, my mom's here a lot.
Only some good people.
My mother was
Did everybody finish their stuff, their stickies? Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. It's organized.
he wants to add inputs, and I said, maybe, maybe.
They want us out of here by,
What's that? And the doctor tells me, she goes,
Hey,
you
Ben.
can find it on the internet anyway, so just know let's try to.
Yeah, let's walk over there.
I can't think of any more. That's in your purse.
You're competing with Celine. A lot of the energy go in that direction. I'd like to see it coming. I'd like to come this way.
I bought them from. They don't believe me, they love it.
All right, you putting it together.
Oh, they have their own condo. Oh, they do? I have to buy them 3 times a day right now. That's exciting though. It won't be. You know, this is what I found out. It's like having
This is like an internal thing. I don't want to be
I don't like to get too deep. I don't want to. Yeah.
Under the water, so you're not supposed to. Formula that
it would be,
we need more, come on.
But it's very exciting, I've never had videos before, 9 of them have been. Yeah. Oh my gosh, they're gonna be so bonded to you. Yes. Let me,
Oh,
I don't know what we're doing.
she'll tell you where to put it. She'll tell you.
They're handing them the letter.
I know. Radical sales. Oh, that's so awkward.
That's a great place for
Did you notice that?
It's not, I told you about that.
Oh, well, super.
Well, we keep a cigar there. You have an ocean here, which is highway 94. Now, also you've done some work in Ypsilanti, little downtown.
They're almost done?
Well, Jackson asked me, the conference people asked me what they could do with it now. They made a big mistake. And the biggest mistake was not to do a bypass. Whatever downtown. You could have a little downtown.
I know. So that's right.
He believes.
Yeah, I know that idea.
He believes in that idea. It's actually.
I know, right? It's just so tired.
Well, you have your.
Yeah.
But you could have
Exactly. I want to be a multi-purpose.
Why don't you take 1 second right here?
He's got.
All right, let's talk about these so we can kind of group them together and then you're gonna vote. What's important?
Did you bring any on? No, I have one? Thank you.
Bring them again next time because I'm out.
Yeah. I need to order some.
So for goals and objectives, kind of group these together. We talked about controlled growth, thoughtful growth,
I'd like to hear.
community services. What did you mean, Ryan? You said community services near.
Like community services hub. So like, it's like we have the service center for county here. We don't really have a service center.
Can you speak up a little bit,
please?
So we got a lot of other conversations going on.
We have a couple outfits.
Hey, we're having some good conversations over here that.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're not privy to.
So,
Check with Jeff.
like a community services hub, like, what is it? The Tower building over in Ipsy. It has a lot of like more social services, stuff like that, but
So
it could be more than that.
Towner? See if you can,
see if he's
Oh,
gonna do it.
Laura's reading
I'm just reading these off so we can, we're gonna vote, Joe's writing them down so we can kind of vote. I just wanna make sure.
Raise your voice.
I want, well, I was, I wanna make sure everybody, I'm getting everyone's ideas how they meant them, right? Add recreation center,
I wrote that down, I think.
Okay.
Like, to add more recreation centers and more, just we need something added to the community that way, I feel.
You mean a building or land?
Yeah, building,
Okay.
yeah.
Like a movie theater?
Walkway, I mean, the movie it could be at the movie theater place, it could, you know, not necessarily movie theater, but it could be, you know, multiple.
commercial primarily, not township, not parks.
It could be both township run and commercial, you
Okay.
know, it could be both, you know, why not? But I mean, I think the community would appreciate having, you know, having its own ability to, like, whether it's a workout facility to start out with, for example, you know, a community workout facility. Then maybe moving to other things. It's progressive, I know.
Well, it's not so much progressive as, I mean,
For this community.
It's expensive.
I know that, but I do believe that the community would appreciate it, and they would be
Give them the
happy to
opportunity
spend the
to-
money on that. Yeah, so
Okay.
that's something that, you know.
Okay, don't wanna be here all night, so let's.
Don't beat us damn horse.
Provide a high level of police and fire safety services, that's already in there, that's really important. More sustainable building features, I think we mean to encourage more,
Yeah.
Okay.
okay? Fill in missing sidewalks and pathways. Fix, pave the damn road.
I love it. We have good roads.
Continue.
Marshall.
Better than Ann Arbor.
Oh, yeah,
Continue to create a township-wide non-motorized network of paths and bike lanes, even on Jackson Road, Wagner, Scio Church, and Liberty.
Miller.
Dexter.
I mean, you've got that incredible pathway from in Ann Arbor, why don't we have something on our Miller?
Improved and sustainable public transportation. Maintain and expand rural character. Protect watersheds, wetlands. Protect, add parks and natural spaces. Protect the Huron River and water quality and aquifers. Incorporate water conservation, the preservation of existing native mature trees. Strengthen our methods that encourage protection and enhancement of natural features. Increase water quality protections. Restrict destruction of woodlots. Promote, encourage net zero housing, EV charging stations. Enable low-income housing. Support more housing in water and sewer districts, including multifamily housing. Another one for attainable, affordable, for families with children, housing. Facilitate aging in place. We didn't talk about what aging in place is, did we?
No.
So I have an article up here I can pass out if you're interested in aging in place, that Dick Carlisle wrote in 2020. And he said he would be happy to give a presentation on aging in place. It basically provides for a wide range of housing types, also retrofitting houses for as you age, so that if you're in a wheelchair or a walker, you have a ramp, you have an elevator, or the doorways are widened, etc. So aging in place is this whole extra separate thing. Develop a cohesive housing plan to ensure a full range of housing options at a full range of affordability to support a diverse population. It's a really good one. Those are the ones we kind of put under goals and objectives. And then under land use, there are several that deal with Jackson Road. So Jackson Wagner to Jackson Parkland Plaza density node. Maybe that's where we want our most dense development. Require multi-use development in the water and sewer districts. Require multi-use development. Form-based zoning district for Jackson Road. Jackson Road corridor denser housing where the water and sewer capacity support. No development outside of Jackson Road corridor within 1 mile north and south. Transition away from car dealerships on Jackson Road to more mixed use and residential. Establish, further develop Jackson and Zeeb as a commercial hub with a variety of uses, not just food. This one, Kim, what was land use goal 4? I don't know what land use goal 4 was.
Support growth with increased building height and density?
Yeah. Okay, she thinks that should be deleted or at least rewritten. And then the PUD goals should not provide a bonus density in rural areas of Scio. Provide and maintain open spaces, parks, and recreational facilities. Incorporate parcel by parcel review of HRWC map and recommendations to implement true connected natural resource corridors. And use land preservation money to protect our green infrastructure, expand the protection around existing hubs, sites, links that HRWC map. And then for zoning implementation, encourage ADUs through promotion. Simplify mixed-use zoning in Jackson Road corridor, form-based to be flexible. Protect the township's rural character, open space, and natural resources. Refine where we allow growth. Focus it where we have water, sewer, limit it elsewhere. Require more parks within new developments. Eliminate all but mandated density bonus outside of the Jackson Road corridor. If development on Jackson Road is encouraged for density, how can it be pushed for more attractiveness, sizing appropriate? So I think it's kind of like form-based. Yep. Mass versus use. Yep. Prevent short-term rentals. Focus increased density on Jackson Road corridor. Help the auto mall empty buildings and empty movie theater for ideas, etc.
Short-term rental in the movie.
What do you say? So you were talking about a recreational building.
Right.
Could I add something? Just recreational spaces. We have a lot of preserves and whatnot, but more, I don't know.
Active recreation.
Active, that's it, thank you.
Active like baseball fields and soccer fields, or active like what we have here? For kids' playground.
Yeah,
What
playground,
about something
soccer.
like those track things that are set up that adults can go do pull-ups and push-ups?
For aging adults.
The trail
But
where
with
you
a
stop
trail.
and do 10 push-ups. and then you-
And you move to the next station, stuff like that, yeah.
I meant exactly what she said. I mean, what happened?
Might as well do something on
Park course.
rather than somebody just sitting there smoking a cigarette.
That would be
Kids drinking a beers.
We should do that.
So Joe just kind of summarized them. We're gonna put up Joe's summary, and then I want you to use your 5 stickers. You can use them all on one. You can put a 5 on different and prioritize where you think we should focus.
These go to Joe, right?
Huh?
On Joe's?
On Joe's. Joe's gonna put them over top and here. They're just kind of summarized, and then put where you think you would want to focus your efforts.
Okay, I'll wait for him to do that, thank you. You wanna buy mine?
Are you taking offers?
No, I'm just kidding.
We could have, what did you call it?
Yeah, I could use some money, so yeah.
No, I can take all of hers.
Park course?
You want to, I got some pollution credits. Density bonus.
Well, you know,
New York City.
They were just shift like course different things out of it. Park course.
Course, C-O-U-R-S-E.
That's a lot.
We should do that out here.
Yeah, you could.
We could.
What's that from?
There's plenty of room there.
I like the idea of having a wooden course that you could, but they have stations, they're like
Yeah.
mini workout stations.
Yeah, little stations, but you can do
Talking
different
about,
things on, yeah, you can do.
It's gonna be very interesting
Yeah.
to watch what happens at
Yeah.
Briarwood. I
Briarwood,
hope it's
things are
successful.
happening in Briarwood, things are happening in Briarwood.
Because they do grocery stores.
Yeah.
The recreation center,
Yeah.
They got
there's all kind of trails.
But it's a mere hand, they must go all the way over there.
Yes.
And it's not all electric.
That's why I hate the traffic.
But they have trails
Yeah,
and they have
at the
those
back.
stations that you
Yeah.
can stop as you're going along.
No, but you can't mandate.
Right. Things, strengthening things.
We're aging. Well, we need to have more kids move in to take care of us, you know, when we grow up.
Just extremely encouraged.
They just use the
We
public.
can only do it if we can't.
What'd she say? I said they just use the public resources.
And a store. And that's what.
All right. However, what's very interesting is the majority of the multifamily going up, the larger multifamily, are all electric. They might have.
That's what Oxford thinks, it's all electric.
But that's because they've agreed to it or been incentivized.
But also it does make economic sense in a multifamily situation.
Jillian was looking at you.
Electricity is very expensive.
Now what?
How about?
Well, if we didn't have.
Yeah, I wasn't over there. Yes, I heard it.
Go vote for.
You can vote for one, all five on one, or vote. We summarized them.
Joe put his spin on it. So Joe's idea. Joe's.
Thank you.
Me on whatever.
Right.
But I don't know.
Yeah, you had to summarize it like less than 5 minutes. You had to summarize it. Going 5 miles an Sorry. It's not happening.
Well, unless you have
Somebody that donates.
Boy, Joe kind of gives up on
It depends on what.
I agree with Joe's, power of the pen.
Yeah.
ice cream, no ice cream.
But we're not that
Is he going to? One of yours here.
Jim, did you do all yours already?
Yeah, I'm gonna borrow water.
Nope, give me
He's not
those.
here.
Nope.
You
only get 5.
Bob's,
Fine, so he hears you, Ken.
Those are his votes.
they're creating them.
You can't vote twice in a
Yeah,
top
that's-
arrow.
Man, it's getting tight over here. When you heard there were only 20 left.
More dots, man.
I know. Kim, I just wanted to say hi. I'm totally with my I'm Renee, nice to meet you. I'm glad you came, Renee. Yeah. What? Let's go against housing. To a degree, yeah, because they can be a family or.
Some families live in them.
There's one I need to organize.
Yeah, some families live in them, and then they rent out. Yeah, they rent out.
So they move out.
Yeah, sorry, I know, I used to
That may be.
try not to do anything at once.
I need to clean it afterwards.
Not really, no. So they basically.
I never like expand, not just preserve. You want to grow it.
What are those, like centipede things? Definitely they come out and
It's the Ukrainian.
when they feed them.
Means focused development there. I read like 4 things about form-based development on Jackson Road, and I found one part of it. Focusing development where we have. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
No, I'm not confusing
What they have is recreational. That means it's just not like
the business can't sell to them or to Europe.
Gas is expensive.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, isn't it bad for, exercise trails? Okay, I've been going to therapy.
Just jump next time, okay?
Yeah.
I wonder.
Yeah, right. Jump. I don't think I can do that.
Me neither.
Stairway paths? I know it.
Oh, you
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
have
that
to?
is.
I don't have my knee done. Now I'm gonna do my back.
You seem to be moving well, so the knee went well?
Yeah, my knee went very well. And
Because they think for it.
solved my back issue. I was hoping it would. Tried to avoid it.
This is your year for surgery, it's mine for no surgery this year.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Public, we're talking.
We're talking about the multiple, should say nothing happened, but somebody better than this hospital, really good.
I'll take your place this year.
No, it's different. I do like that.
Cut off.
Thank you. We need more stickers.
I already ripped them out of Kim's hands.
All right, just to summarize, let's go through.
Oh, are you going, Laura, still?
Voting.
Come on, Laura.
Did they all get voted?
Laura's got one more.
Okay.
With enough money, she'll vote the way that you want her to.
I can't give her enough money. She'll do what she wants.
So here's sticks.
Oh, thank you.
He's happy to do. All right, so let's see the winners here.
Wow, this is.
Looks like recreation opportunities, non-motorized transportation, natural features preservation, I heard expansion.
Yep.
Affordable housing, Jackson Road corridor, and no short-term rentals look like the most.
Topical.
Most dots. But I was telling Bob Hyde, we'll take these back. We're going to provide a summary of today's meeting and what came out as the priorities of this group. And from that, I'll be talking with Jan about moving forward, how we want to continue with the Planning Commission, public input, all those things. So that's still all wide open and on the table, but we'll have to put a plan. This is the plan to plan, so now we have to do an intent and finalize our scope so that we can move forward. So I really appreciate you all coming and taking the time tonight to do this, and I'm available for questions at any time.
One final thought, in these graphs where we have the population and how many there are, I don't think there are 21,084 plus people in the township.
That's a projection. That's a projection to 2050.
That's the total number of the column.
Oh, I think it's a projection to 2050, but we'll check that out.
So I don't know how many dots my idea got about the PUD.
We're still going to talk about it.
Yeah, but I do intend to bring those things up in our discussion.
PUD goals?
Pardon?
PUD goals, yeah. It's important.
Yeah, and it's an easy control.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. That's all I have.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks, you go home now?
Well, you have to finish your
We have to
agenda.
finish the meeting.
So,
Yeah, that's right.
well, I guess, no, we have public comment. All right, so, public, please, public comment. This is time for members of the public to speak to the Board of Trustees for up to 5 minutes on any matter. Anyone present, please come up to the table. Thank you.
Thank you for this, Laura. I realize that we are a bunch of cats and it's like herding a bunch of cats, but well done. Thank you for that. Kim, where's Kim? Kim, I liked your idea of proactive planning. We talked about that a few years ago at the Planning Commission, where we've been reactive for so long. And the Planning Commission has taken so many steps to get us closer to being proactive. And this is the next round of those steps. And then for decades, we've had a board and sometimes a Planning Commission who have been very developer friendly. And now we have a board that is much more interested, I believe, in protecting residents. And now we have a new chance to deal with the master plan. You have a chance here to really do a lot of good to protect residents. And so you got your work cut out for you, but this is a real opportunity. And I look forward to what you guys are gonna do. Thank you for including transit, Laura. As Ryan will affirm, bus transit, especially the Route 30 bus, boy, have we learned that bus transit is a heck of a lot more important than any of us had any idea. I'm really actually surprised no one was here tonight to talk about that, or even on Zoom.
Tomorrow.
No. And, right. And party barns. Let's finally get Jamie and the Streeter family and all those people in Scio Township. Now you guys are in a position to actually do something to help them. 15 years later, let's finally do something about the party barns. Not just the noise ordinance, that was my focus earlier tonight, but let's do something about the party barns. Your priorities, you talked about expanding housing on Jackson. That means we're gonna have to expand the sewer system because we're coming up to, I think we've got 1,200 REUs left, maybe it's 800 with the last development, I can't remember the details. But we're towards the final end of the sewer system. I think, if I remember right, Brandon said that was gonna be another $10 million to expand the sewer system. So let's talk about that and include that into the housing discussions. And Laura and Jillian, you guys both talked about a community center or a rec center and rec fields. Let's do something for a community center. Let's do something that brings people together. Let's do something that maybe with I'm not sure the Goodrich Center is central enough. When it was 300 North Eve, that would have been a great community center with playing fields right out front. But that's now taken care of and not gonna be the big thing that Navid wanted it to be. But yeah, let's look at rec fields, rec centers, community centers, that sort of thing. Well done, thank you for doing this tonight. Well done.
Thank you.
No, I can't be quiet. Renee Klubeck. I would just like to say thank you. I have never been in Scio Township to I'm going to call this a work meeting that was the Board of Trustees, a committee, a wonderful contractor, and this was just great. And my husband was bribing me with ice cream to come home and leave. I did not do that. I stayed here because I wanted to listen and I wanted to learn, and I did. And what I also would like to say is my background, I'm old, I'm retired, and my background is medical, and we've done wonderful in this world of finding out how to keep us all alive. There's just one problem. We haven't thought about what to do with us. So whomever it was that mentioned aging in place, we have a serious issue all over the world in that, and there is a fairly large community of retired people in Scio, because we all love it and want to stay in this community. And aging in place is something that's going to become critical, I would say, in the next 5 years, because the biggest problem is pricing to be what my parents were cared for in 4-stage care facilities. That has changed. No one can afford that anymore. And the generation behind the baby boomers will even have bigger problems with that. So I think it's a great thing to keep in mind. I realize we're not the biggest problem, but it's something to keep in mind and talk about because it's going to continue. And so possibly things with homes, different alternatives in the community might be really good for transportation, everything for the aging population. Because we're not going anywhere. So thank you again for everything I learned tonight, and I really enjoyed it, and now I'm going home for ice cream.
Wait, you turned him down.
Okay, is there anyone online that wants to speak at public comment? Please raise your Zoom hand. First up is Bob Walsh. Go ahead, Bob.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say nice job. Sorry I couldn't be there, but I'm in Vermont with my parents because they're aging in place and they needed help this week.
Thanks, Bob.
That's it.
Yeah,
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Bob, we gave your, Laura got your stuff.
Anyone else, please raise your Zoom hand. There are no hands raised.
Joe, do you have anything? No? Okay, I guess we're all set. Thank you for attending. Yeah, thank you, Laura. All right.
Move to adjourn.
At 7:55? Support. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Laura, do we